Save the Elephants has got one mission, which is to secure a future for elephants. But to do that, we have to go into quite advanced technology.
This elephant has been tranquilized to be fitted with an advanced tracking collar that will be used to follow its every move. Dr. Hamilton pioneered elephant research in the 60s, paving the way for conservation projects today.
A man apparently risks his life to capture shots of an elephant in full threat charge.
For the past 40 years, Douglas Hamilton has been a pioneer in the field of elephant research and tracking technology.
No one who values his life should try to approach elephants on foot in this way. But this was not just a photographer's stunt. It was part of a 5-year scientific study that depended on taking identification pictures of almost every elephant in Lake Manyara National Park, Tanzania.
Today, Save the Elephant has research projects in 4 different African countries.
If we can follow the elephant movements, we can start understanding how they take decisions. If we understand what's going on in an elephant's head, we know more about their needs. And from their needs, we can try to fulfill those needs within the framework of conservation. One of our most important projects is here in South Africa, on the edge of the Kruger National Park, in Timbavati. And we have a team of scientists there who are looking at the quite specific movements of elephants, trying to understand what the relationship is between those that live in the Kruger and those that live in the private nature reserves.
The Timbavati Private Game Reserve is just one of numerous private reserves adjoining the Greater Kruger National Park. With a large elephant population, it represents a perfect case study of how elephants impact on their surrounding environment. Elephants have long been blamed for the destruction of species, both vegetation types and the animals that feed on them.
If you can meet the elephant's needs, you're going to meet the needs of a whole range of plants, animals, birds and beasts, because the elephant is a creature that needs so much space that he covers many different ecosystems, and all the other animals will depend on that same ecosystem. So in a sense, we use elephants as a symbol for biodiversity conservation.
Heading this South African project are local scientists Michelle and Steve Henley. When Michelle started the project in 1993, she said the technology was basic.
We started out literally with a piece of paper and a pencil, sketching ear patterns. We're now at a point in time where we can use a photo ID system to identify individuals, and hopefully pattern recognition software, so that we can actually call up that ID of the animal in the field and recognize it in the field using technology.
She now has 1,500 photographs of individual elephants on file. Of those, 30 are collared. This has been achieved with the help of husband and partner Steve.
I sort of started out in the sort of research ecology field in the mid-80s, and in those days VHF radio collars, the old sort of tracking collars with an antenna, was sort of fairly new technology. It was sort of labour intense. I can remember going for days at a time, not able to find an animal. If you were lucky, you'd get one data point on an animal a day. The collars that we're deploying on the elephants now essentially consist of a GPS unit that records the elephant's position based on the configuration of satellites, and then translates or transmits that data to a cell phone or a satellite phone that then sends it to us.
Elephant movement across the Kruger National Park is the subject of much study, especially as the fence between the South African and Mozambican sides of the park is in the process of being removed. The question is if and when the elephants will return to Mozambique.
We're collaborating with South African National Parks to look at the rate at which elephants will recolonize that area to the east. And this is crucial for the management of the Kruger National Park, where They have very delicate and important decisions to take about whether or not elephant population should be controlled by this method or that method. One of the most exciting things we've done recently is to use the geographic information systems like Google to analyze our data and to display it. So using the Google Earth interface, we can now actually watch the movements of elephants almost in real time as they go about their daily business.
An important aspect of Michelle and Steve's study is monitoring sexually active bull elephants, a condition known as MUST. Years ago, finding these bulls was pretty much down to guesswork because they were hard to follow. This new technology allows researchers to pinpoint the elephant's exact movements.
Okay, he's got that typical head held high posture of a bull in MUST and that zigzagging movement when they're following a scent trail.
It's only recently now that computers are actually robust enough, resilient enough to be working in the field. And what that means is now what we can do is in the field we can go and actually download. We don't have to work from a single point. We can go into the field and actually download an elephant there in the field, there and then, and collect the data and start working from that point in time. Being able to sort of spend more and more time in the field means you actually get a much deeper understanding of the elephants themselves. You spend less time sort of working through data, crunching data. To me, actually being out in the wild is where I get those insights, where I get those inspired moments about animal ecology and that. And to actually have the opportunity, the power at my fingertips to literally go into the field and do the work that I enjoy doing in the field, in that environment that I'm working in, is incredible. I mean, that's really where my interest lies.
I think to get the message across, we need to engage with the public so that they can understand what are pressing conservation issues when it comes to conserving elephants. And I think we're quite capable of doing that because of extensive networks throughout the world now. We've got a whole virtual community that can become involved in conservation issues.
My ultimate dream would be to see elephants able to move in much of their former range, to restore their corridors, to allow them to live more in balance with their environment. We're going to need all the help we can get from high tech, from politicians, from the goodwill of people, and from finding simple solutions so man and elephant can live together. And really in all of this, we do need the best that we can get from modern technology. We need to be able to push those frontiers all the time.
It's been an absolute privilege to work on this project. It made me realize that it's each and every one of our responsibilities to protect our living planet. I'd like to quote a Masonga oral tradition. Man lives again through his children, the trees he's planted, the words he's uttered. Today, we must make conscious choices that will lead to a sustainable society that's living in harmony with the ecosystem. Information technology is the enabler to achieve this. It's not what Intel make, but what we make possible.